Hey yo, it's Talib Kweli. You checking out VladTV.com. I've been rocking with Vlad since before there was a VladTV.com. Vlad TV gets a shout out on the new album Gutter Rainbows, January 25th. Check out my interview right now. It's the year of the blacksmith, this year and every year. One love. When I first met Kanye, he came to my session looking for Mos Def, and Mos wasn't there yet, so he played me a couple beats while he was waiting for him, and the beats just blew me away. And then when he told me he worked on the Beanie Sigel albums, the Reason and the Truth, he had did my favorite songs on those records, and I didn't even know who he was. And so I started really working with him, and that's where Good to You and Get By and Gorilla Monsoon Rap and those first Kanye records I worked on come from. But Kanye really wanted to be on Raucous, man. Like, he was hanging out in the Raucous offices and he was producing beats, and God bless Jared and Brian from Raucous, but they didn't see the vision with Kanye the artist. They definitely wanted to get his tracks. By that time, the blueprint had came out and people really were starting to check for Kanye as a producer. And I remember the first time he rapped for me in the Raucous offices around that time of Platinum Island maybe, I thought, wow, he's a really good rapper. But I think a lot of producers is good rappers. I think Large Professor, Diamond D, Pete Rock. I'm not surprised when I hear a producer sound good on his own tracks.
Right.
You know, because I think just to be a producer, you have to have a certain musical ear anyway. Jay Dilla might be the best producer rapper. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to Dilla. But Kanye, you know, I got a line on my new album, Gutter Rainbows. I got a song called Friends and Family, when I'm like, Mr. Journeyman introduced me to top rhyming. On the bus, Kanye West would never stop rhyming. Ain't no mountain high enough for him, he never stopped climbing. That's why when the homies win, I never stop smiling. Like, Kanye rhymed all the time. He was never shy about, what do you think of this verse? And he was always asking for feedback. And even when I was with Kanye in Prague, when he was working on his verse for the Justin Bieber record with Raekwon, he was the same dude. What do you think of this line? What do you think? Asking everybody in the room for feedback, because he works as a collective. You know what I'm saying? Like, he really is concerned with making sure that he hits all his targets when it comes to his verses and this and that, and that's what he was on back then. And Kanye reached out to me when I was on tour with Common on Electric Circus tour, and he was like, yo, they were not really checking for me at these labels, and I'm trying to get them to understand that I got some shit. So he asked me to come on tour with him, and me bringing Kanye on tour wasn't a favor, because his beats were so dope and his rhymes were so dope to me at the time that he was adding to my show. You know what I'm saying? And we got into little debates and arguments because there was things that Kanye wanted to do as a showman on my set that I'm like, you can't do that. Like, he wanted to come out, there was a rumor that he got beat up. He wanted to come out in a wheelchair with a neck brace and then rhyme over Takeover and then jump out the wheelchair. And I was like, nah, if I don't have no stage props, you're not coming out for 2 songs with the stage props.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And Kanye would miss the bus and oversleep, but then buy a plane ticket and come meet us in the next city. And he was just really, really, really about learning the craft. And it was amazing to watch. And all these songs, from Jesus Walks to Hey Mama, these are all songs that he played for me on this tour, and I'm like, these shits is incredible, man. Like, I couldn't believe what I heard. I didn't understand why other people didn't get it. You know, if you were to tell me back then that Kanye was gonna be the biggest artist in the world, I'd have been like, hell yeah. Because when I heard College Dropout, the early version, I was like, this is some of the best shit I've heard in my life.
So you weren't surprised at all?
Nah, I've not been surprised. Kanye's personality now was how it was back then. It seemed crazier because there was nothing to back it up. There was no plaques, there was no album sales, there was no Taylor Swift moment, there was no George, but none of that existed. But he was like, I'm the best producer. I'm the illest dressed rapper. When I come out, I'm gonna do this. When I come out, and everybody was like, yeah, right. And a couple of them things, I was like, yeah, right. But when it came to the music, that was like undeniable.